Well, how about that? Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, what are you... Whiskey! Whiskey, what are you doing? Where's he gone?
Wait, is he not? Did he leave?
Wait, there he is. Hey, you... Whiskey, I'll give you 10 seconds. Oh my god.
Alright, and we're back.
Oh my god.
Ladies and gents.
Get me going there.
Welcome to
My god.
the game that I will be running as the
My heart's
GM.
beating.
What a responsible GM I am.
Oh man. Hell yeah.
Oh
Gonna be some good shit. I think that was worth the meme. At the same time, I was the butt, so that's fine.
Yep. Good.
Oh,
I
man.
have to have my classic pre-stream. I went off to
Pre-stream
the
gag.
left side of the screen as the distraction, the sort of red herring, and then came back in. Looked like I was looking around for a bit, and then went full for the pre-stream gag. Hey, Dark
That's
Sage.
whiskey.
Hey, Fist 80.
What's up? What's up, guys?
How you beautiful men doing?
Whiskey, what are we doing here today? Why have we...
And more importantly,
gathered?
who is this?
Who is that guy?
I have no idea.
Well, you're no help.
Who is this man?
Who is this man? Who is this Joe
Completely
Nathan
man.
man?
And what is he doing in my game?
This boy over here?
This
Indeed.
boy? This lad?
This boy?
Why don't you introduce yourself, Jonathan?
Joe Nathan. Thank you, but it's fine. Short version. Name is Jonathan. Bijan and I met each other. Got it? Half a
8
year
months
ago?
ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bijan was running an in-person 5e game, and we kind of hit it off. And then he's like, "Hey, you're looking for people to live with," and I'm like, "I sure am." And so here we are, living in the same house. He's like 15 feet away from me.
I'm like
So,
an
what you're
inch
saying
on
is,
stream,
if-
but yeah.
if Tarippa yells loud enough,
Oh shit.
I mean,
we'll get it in your mic. That's
possibly.
what I'm hearing.
Possibly. That's very accurate.
Alright.
Oh boy.
But
So,
I mean, he's gonna yell loud enough. It's gonna happen.
it's Tarippa.
One way or
Yeah.
another.
So, everybody, this is a new game that we'll be running. It doesn't need too much exposition. We don't need like a Star Wars fucking intro crawl. But it's going to be set in an icy kingdom. It's a low fantasy game, and it's going to be featuring these two beautiful boys, and hopefully, maybe, Frosty. Frosty will be playing in the ice game, maybe, potentially.
In the ice game.
Occasionally. Maybe, potentially, occasionally, Frosty will be Frosty. That's the hope. That's the dream.
That is the dream. Yeah.
Tripper, bring back the green screen.
Not for roleplay,
role
man.
play.
Yeah. Not for roleplay. Gotta
But-
keep things
I
consistent.
appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah. Tripper will be bringing back the green screen for gaming on the
morrow.
other days.
Exactly. Yeah.
But how has everybody's weeks been? Because it's approaching Christmas, and you've
Boy.
been playing a shitload of Dark Souls, Tripper.
Yes,
know,
he has.
I've You know what's so funny? It's so great that I have this man over here because he's kind of facilitated in part my recent Dark Souls addiction.
True.
Whenever I work in the morning, oh god, Whiskey, are you dead?
No.
Oh shit, that was actually fucking terrifying. Whenever I have to work early, he's been like, "Hey, if you want to ride to work, I'm down." And I'm like, "So I don't have to take the bus and leave 45 minutes earlier?" He's like, "Oh no," and I'm like, "What am I going to do with all that time?"
Precisely.
So that's a pretty good indication of how much I've been playing that game, basically. That's been my life for the most part.
Reminds me of my old days before school, waking up early to play RuneScape in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Oh, dude, middle school years.
Oh,
That was a time.
oh boy, don't have middle school here in the UK. Just have primary and then secondary.
Well, it's
Just two
okay.
stages.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
Wow.
you guys are like a year backwards, I think. Like
I mean, your
your
education.
grades, your education starts like a year later, I think.
Plus, I mean, your education system probably, is beneficial. So there's that.
Shit.
I mean, eh. But, Jonathan,
Hey.
how have you been? Who are you? What do you do?
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
who is your father? Yes.
So, I currently am going to college, a PhD student in operations research, first year, and it sucks. It's been awful. This first semester has been absolutely just, oh my goodness. And then right on Thanksgiving Day, I had a concussion because I got in a car crash on my way to my grandma's house. So that's lovely. So
Excellent.
I had a concussion while trying to study for my finals.
And that's when you made the decision to join my game, right? Yeah. It's all the things are coming together.
It's true. I did accept your invitation while suffering head trauma. So take that for what that is.
Okay, I understand.
And these past few days, I've been sleeping a lot, which is lovely. But also my head's better, which is better. So right now, I'm living the dream.
All right.
Yeah, man.
And I'm Ruben. I've been playing Dark Souls as well, and just being a living meme, ladies and gentlemen.
I used to be a living meme, then you took the crown.
I took the crown of the living meme, and now you're the living dream. Everyone wants to be that man.
The bagel boy. Yeah.
The big
boy.
But,
Yeah.
without further ado, I think we should get into the actual game.
I agree. I'm hyped,
If
dude.
you guys are
Let's do
ready
it.
and hyped.
Oh, yeah, man.
So, let's stop this joyous and ridiculous music. Get into something else.
Alright.
So, I'm waiting until I hear the actual sound here. Oh, this is the wrong sound effect. This is the right sound. Okay, guys, here we go. This is the official start where we won't mess up anymore. So, the cub at this point was cold, and it was very hungry. Many times it had licked its mother's muzzle, asking her for food. But she didn't seem to awaken. He wasn't sure whether he'd done something wrong. He lapped up some of the still wet that was surrounding his mother, and it tasted of salt and iron. Wondering what to do next, the cub sat up and rested its head on its paws. Its mother provided some comfort from the weather, her large form blocking out the wind and some of the harsher snow. But it didn't really offer any warmth, as she seemed to be ignoring him completely. After some time, a smell distantly caught its attention, and the cub lifted its head high in surprise and began looking around as if noticing something. Sniffing the air, it noticed the smell of a mixture of creatures. There was sense of wolf and man and furs and smells of... some smells that the cub didn't even recognize, probably from somewhere far away. The cub pawed at its mother's fur, but she still didn't awaken. Licking her face once more, still didn't stir. But the cub got some of the wet on his tongue, and it tasted bad, and reminded him of his hunger. Eventually, he decided to head out. His mother hadn't been moving ever since they met the Black Mother anyway. Eventually, the cub got the courage to stand up and began braving the cold of the elements, as its fur whipped about him in the harsh wind. Its body is thick and wolf-like, but its underbelly seems to be almost rubbery, like a sea creature, like a shark or a whale. The cub was hungry, and the sort of mix of smells was driving it forwards, this sort of promise of potential food. They would likely be smaller than him, as they always were. At this point, we see the wolf as it's traveling through this blizzard pass a evergreen pine, and we see its sizes. The wolf size is maybe 8 feet tall while standing on 4 legs, not on 2. Its body is thick and has this sort of very shaggy but still fluffy fur to it, and it has teeth like a shark, as it's sort of baring its teeth with its head low, moving forwards, copying what its brother always did. It has this appearance of sort of like a half orca, half wolf, is the best way I can describe it. It knew it'd be able to hunt, so it continued through the snow, crushing clumps of it underfoot. Occasionally, the sound of rocks and claws scraping that he knew that his elder brothers in his pack would never make that sort of sound while hunting. But he was still inexperienced. He knew the scent of man, but he hadn't once yet actually tried to encounter one. So this was exciting for the cub. And it stalked forwards, doing its best from what he saw its older brother do. It was a fun game. His mother might stop ignoring him if he brought it food. He continued through the snow for some time until its pace slowed. The smells were close. But there was more than one. He could hear the steps of their feet in the distance through the wind, the crunching, cold smush. He started to bow his head low and take some time. The beings from far in the distance were making a lot of noise. They were loud. And loud usually meant confident, which put a bit more care in the wolf's step. A loud wolf declares his territory his own, and that's what these beings seemed to be doing. And so it cautiously stalked, carefully. We begin to move through the ice and we hear snow being crunched underfoot, these heavy footfalls becoming louder and louder. And we fade to this scene of just traipsing through the snow, wind whistling through the air like a knife thrown at them. And it feels almost like the blizzard itself, each snowflake hitting your face is like a shard of glass impacting your skin as your faces are sort of raw and red. It's still autumn, or supposedly it was when you set out. You're not entirely sure. It's been maybe a week's travel, but it still shouldn't be winter. And this blizzard seems like one that would only appear at the full height of winter. But a little way back atop a mountain, you saw the lake not far in the distance before the blizzard started springing up. So you know that you're pretty close to your destination. You've been struggling to stay close enough to the lake to use it as a landmark, but far enough that you might avoid accidentally stepping and falling through the ice. Lake Garabel has claimed many lives of children and adults, even experienced hunters that way. But, seeing as the lake lets you know you're close, the town shouldn't be too far off, so you pull up your furs around your faces, unable to completely shield your cheeks, which are sort of still raw from the wind. But you guys continue onwards. In the far distance, as you guys move, you begin seeing the distant orange glow of flames and the dark shapes of buildings that seem to tower welcomingly, like a comforting parent, standing above in the frosted air. Would one of you, as we get a clear view of your characters traipsing through this blizzard, like to describe how you sort of look, your demeanor, your sort of equipment that you have on you?
I think leading the two of us, unless you have any different thoughts, more likely than not, because he's scouting ahead slightly, would be Ref. He is, I believe, the more, let's say,
you're like 2 minutes. You're 2 minutes older.
Yeah. That's a funny thing. He's 2 minutes older, but he acts 20 years younger, basically. And that's just the way he is, effectively. He's wearing this scarf around his face, but you can still see, despite snow and wind whipping at him, that his skin almost has this crusty sort of complexion to it, almost. and he's got these
Like constant
weird
eczema,
wrinkles.
but way worse.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And he's just got kind of skin shavings resting on his scarf, and it's a little gross, but also it just looks like his face hasn't moved in a long time, and his eyes are just like focused in on the path ahead or lack thereof. And he will constantly, effectively be just surveying the area and then glancing back at his brother and making sure he's on his path. He never has to tell his brother to pick up the pace. Him and his brother have always been relatively close when it came to physical prowess and just staying ability.
Yeah, and behind him, wearing just heavy furs, but nothing much in terms of protection against wolves or anything we might be encountering. Just following up behind with using a staff as kind of a support. You see Jarren, and for being brothers, Jarren looks significantly older than Ref. But what you might notice immediately is he has scarring that changes, has a discoloration along his face. And at first, you might just think there was a bad accident. But if you look a little bit closer, you notice that it looks like these were made with purpose. Sort of a almost a marking of sorts, but one man-made. Not carrying much else in terms of belongings other than rations and whatnot on his back, but just keeping everything close and at his side and following his brother earnestly.
Okay. Very cool. And both of you are sort of like keeping your head down, except for the occasional like glance up and glance around that Ref is trying to keep a good eye out. And Ref, you've got the higher passive perception as you're like peering around, so that makes sense. And you see that the town of Thetch is laid out not too far from where you are, maybe like another 5-10 minutes walk, judging by how distant the orange glow seems. Maybe, just a dozen more minutes, and you'll be out of the harsh weather. And that is when you hear the sound.
Uh-oh.
From far off in the distance, there's the sharp sort of ringing, the whistling of wind, but it's punctuated by a very distinct noise that sort of is eerie. It's not too far away, and its tenor gives it this impression as if it's a dragon that has roared from distance, the feeling that it's come from all around the behind area of you. It's more akin to a howl, but it seems a weary one. And we pull back away from you guys.
All right.
And we'll come back to you in just like a very short time. So the cub knew that the men were close. It was getting closer and closer with each step that it was taking. Its strides were longer than theirs. But they were also getting close to something. A place that reeked of the smell of men. The red sting of burnwood and the black sting of deadwood killed by it. He knew he would have to reach them before they arrived. They would be safe, and they would have the red stingwood there. So, he let out a howl. More men and more stingwood wouldn't let him eat, and hunger was now driving him more than his pride. The cub pulled its head back into the air, releasing the best howl he could manage, but doing so exposed his neck to the cold elements, and it had to quickly pull back, making the howl a bit more feeble than he might have hoped. He had to let his mother know he was here in case he got into trouble again. But then he began to charge forwards. He had a little way to go, but he knew he would catch them. And we see him begin bounding through the snow. And you guys start to hear in the very, very distant behind you, you hear the sound of these heavy footfalls impacting the snow. Perhaps a giant, but no, the impacts are too fast. Far too fast for a giant. It sounds like a beast, like this huge bear lumbering forwards. Only heavier. And what would you guys like to do?
As soon as I hear it, I'll just kind of put a hand up very emphatically to Jarren. not really saying anything.
Yeah, I continue to move forward just to meet you and wait.
Yeah, and I'm going to very pointedly try to listen out to see if I can hear any more details, maybe like a heavy huffing of breath to go with the footfalls, or
We
something
hear
like that.
we hear the footfalls happening quickly though, right?
Yes. You hear this like it sounds almost like a bear just coming towards you, but the footfalls seem to hit the ground more loudly just from the sounds of the crunching of snow and like clawing that's appearing behind you.
Dude.
It seems like it's a little way distant, but it seems to be getting closer and closer.
We cannot see the source.
Not yet. The blizzard is sort of obscuring a lot of the vision right now. It's quite a thick storm.
Yeah, I kind of put a hand on your shoulder. I don't want to fight. It's coming up.
Neither
How
do
far?
I,
Then let's go.
but it may outrun us.
Then let's try to beat it there.
Yeah, I just look to you and then like look back, and we cannot see it. I imagine.
You can roll me a perception.
I would like to. Yeah,
It will be with disadvantage because it's heavily obscured, but you can definitely try and like try your best to pierce through the blizzard, see if you can find
Yeah,
any
Yeah.
vision or purchase on what this thing is.
And I'm like starting to try to like pull you forward.
Yeah. I would sort of just kind of like pat your back, but also sort of pushing you on, like go.
Yeah, I start to go as fast as I can forward.
Okay, so 12.
Okay, yeah.
Not bad. You begin to see as this thing continues lumbering forwards, you sort of whip your head around and you start picking up your pace a little bit, sort of like start following after Jarren, but you just like look over your shoulder occasionally as you're running and you begin to see the size of it before you see anything else. This thing is maybe 10 foot tall while lumbering towards you. And
oh god,
you can only really make out its head and front legs, which seem to be pushing through the icy blizzard. And its legs are the length of a tall man. Its head looks like if it opened its maw at full height, it could swallow a man without chewing. And its teeth seem to be less like a wolf's, but more like shark teeth. They're reminiscent of blackfish that you've heard horror stories about from fishermen in your travels. Its mouth seems more like an orca than any wolf that you've ever seen.
oh god.
And as you guys are running, I'd like you both to roll me athletics checks.
Yeah. Just
Oh, boy.
as I'm running and catching up to him, I'm like run.
Nice.
Run.
You rolled twice, I think. Oh no,
no.
both of you have the same name, so it's counting you as the same person.
I should change that.
I'll change, yeah.
So who has the +2 and who has the +1?
I
Yes,
have the
+2.
+2.
Okay, so you got the 9 and you got the 20. Yeah, and you are overtaking your brother. But this is a group check.
You saying I would overtake him?
Yes.
If I would overtake him, I would like to not. I'm okay.
It's a group check.
Okay,
so you guys
cool.
will make
I
progress.
can help him on. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I'm going to GM roll. Okay.
This is the worst time for my leg to start bothering me.
Come on. Just grab your arm
trying.
and try to support you.
So it rolled a 14, which is exactly the in-between of your roll, basically, because D&D rounds down.
Yeah.
Whew.
So, it's bounding forwards with these steps that, as it gets closer, seem to shake the very ground that you're standing on behind you. And it's gaining on you, certainly, but the town is getting closer. The dark shapes that now sort of grow and form detail out of the storm. You see the vague orange glow of what is now flickering firelight. The high wooden walls, the vertical logs placed side by side, and you guys are just sprinting towards this. And these walls loom out of the snow. Hanging from the tops of the gate are these 2 man-sized cages filled with lumber that are burning. They were once used for executions, but now simply beacons for travelers. You see the guards at the gate seem to have a quick discussion upon noticing and hearing you guys approach over something, but they don't seem to be too panicked as you guys are like sprinting towards. They just seem to ready their weapons and gather towards the center. You guys get closer and closer, running against the wind hard as you can. and you think you may have, like, just by running directly into the blizzard, may have stripped off a few layers of skin from your face just from running directly towards the harsh snow. But you're so close, and you're sprinting at full pelt, and you finally reach the gate. And the guards don't open it, and you guys just sort of, like, fling yourselves forwards, and, like I'm assuming you're, like, slamming on the wooden gate or something. To that effect. Or...
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, one of the guards saunters up out of the snow, and as they get within, like, 15 feet, you actually get proper visibility on her. She looks like this.
Oh.
I'm all for getting out of the elements, but do you really think running so frantically in the snow is wise?
It is when you think you're about to die.
Is there something chasing us? Does it seem like it's still chasing us?
Yeah, you guys look around, and so does she. Roll me a perception check.
Alright.
Both of us?
Yep. I mean, if both of you are looking around, then yeah.
All right.
Jarren, you don't notice anything. And she seems to be looking around quite confused as well. Ref, you notice in the far distance, this shape, very, very distantly, doesn't seem to be running at you anymore, but more like moving horizontally past, as if it's sort of like circling around, looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, and it's just in this...
It's like just at the edge of your vision. You think like it's been trained to stay this far away because most people wouldn't pick up on this.
It's still there. And I'm just staring at it, trying to lock eyes with it. You know, I can't see its eyes.
May I ask what you think you're being chased by?
Never seen anything like it. But it looked like everything I've heard about blackfish.
On land?
It had the body of a wolf, but the head of one of those predators.
Well, I've never heard of any such creature, but I've not been in this area terribly long. Are you Morden Shegan?
She like, looks back between the two of you.
What?
Who?
Oh, my utmost apologies. I'd heard that two orc brothers passed through occasionally clad in furs. I just assumed. I don't get many orcs around here.
Do you mind if we have this conversation inside of the wall?
That'd be appropriate.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry. Could you describe again the creature for me, please? And may I ask who you are, so I can give the captain plenty of warning?
Yeah, do I...
You guys start hearing the sort of crunching of snow as the other guard, who has up to this point just been standing, sort of head slightly tilted, watching you, starts to approach, and you get a clear look at his face. And he points a finger straight at you, Ref, and just goes,
Ref.
as if stating an answer to the question. And I think she looks over at him with the same sort of quizzical look as you do.
Yeah, I do the exact same.
And he gets this big, broad smile, revealing his like mismatched teeth. And he just goes,
Safe.
Do I know you?
He nods.
Do I know you?
His head tilts. And the girl just looks over at sort of the two of you with a furrowed brow.
Did either of you used to live here?
Yes.
While ago.
Oh. That. Then may I ask your names?
I'm Jarren. This is my brother.
I'm Ref.
She nods, and this girl, pretty young before you, closes her eyes and as she does, this layer of frost seems to almost form across her skin, as if her internal warmth has just shut down and she's just been exposed to the elements and they've taken a hold of her. And when she opens her eyes and sort of like takes a gasp, her eyes have this sort of, the irises are this bluish white for a moment before melting back down to a duller brown.
Captain said hearing my report would be sufficient for the creature, and to let Ref and Jarren in.
Asmund? Her face sort of stretches into a weak smile for a moment, and then, with surprising authority, she calls, "Gate!" And Asmund, this boy with this strange and deformed face, goes over and grabs the gate with one arm. And this is a hefty gate that might take like 3 men to pull by any reasonable stretch, and just starts walking backwards with a feat of strength that probably surprises both of you from someone of his build.
Wow.
Well, let's go inside then.
Oh,
Captain
okay.
said you should be allowed inside. I'll report the sighting to him. He might know something of it. The dwarves have been about in the north longer than any men.
Right.
Okay.
She just sort of like nods you towards the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, start to walk in.
You guys start making your way through, and this town, when you knew it, particularly you, Jarren, had a significant amount more life to it, with people bustling, sort of warm fires around the place. It seems to have grown slightly colder since you've left. You, Ref, probably have attributed this more to the plague that hit it many years ago, wiping out a decent chunk of its population, including, unfortunately, your mother while you were here. But it seems like they've been rebuilding a bit. There are houses that seem to have some movement about in them as you guys sort of like start moving into the town itself. The gate closes behind you with sort of a shuddering sound of wood impacting on wood. And you guys have arrived in Thetch and out of the cold, icy snow.
Just beginning to think we were gonna be out in the snow for another week. Good job.
Probably would have died if we'd stayed that long. Probably.
Good job getting us here.
What? I didn't do all the work. Man. You did that thing with the water. You remember?
Which part are you talking about?
The thing.
And Ref is like really trying to remember something really
Yeah,
hard.
just like staring at a point, like a little way in front of you. And at this point, you guys have been walking, but Ref just stops as he's thinking.
The,
Are you talking about the lake?
must have been. I guess I'll remember another time, I suppose.
Sure.
Maybe.
Don't think too hard on it.
Just kind of angry at myself. I can't remember this simple thing.
Come on. We should find some place to stay.
Agreed.
So, very near the entrance, there is a tavern, which is called. Let me find the name of it. But for the meantime, you could also. There is another place you could stay or visit, which is your mother's house, which probably, based on the lack of people wanting to live here / moving here, probably hasn't been refilled since her absence.
Okay, that I think would probably be a good. Because we've probably been in the cold all day, huh?
Okay. What say we get some warmth by a hearth and then go see about our mother's home?
I think that's a good idea. Let's go.
Okay.
So there's the Charstone Inn, which is the large inn in the town that usually caters to travelers more than anyone else.
Is it near the gate?
Yes, it's the closest one to the gate.
Nice. I think that's the one
Yep.
we'd probably go to.
Okay. Okay, sick. So you guys start making your way through. You pass nearby the main market area where you see a few very old stalls and one very large stall that seems to have various crates placed by it. And you guys make your way to the inn, the Charstone Inn, where you guys enter inside. The actual outside of the inn itself has this black wood. You know this is to try and absorb heat from the sun, so that the actual inn is like a decent amount warm. And one thing that you notice actually is the second that you entered the gate itself, and unnaturally so, the wind seemed to slow. Where it's a blizzard outside, inside this town it seems to be nothing more than a light breeze. Still snow falling, but not at the rapid, insane pace as it is outside. It seems almost like a dome where the very elements seem to slow down when they hit. You look up and you see this sort of like whirling blizzard of snow dashing overhead, but in the town it seems to fall slowly and calmly. And you make your way towards the Charstone Inn. And the building is pretty large, made up predominantly of this sort of charred wood. And you go up to the door. It has this very sort of smoky feel and smell to it. And begin opening the door. It creaks as you sort of put hand on it and open it. Within, the inn itself is very barren. You do notice there are two people sitting at tables, but other than that, it seems to be only the staff who are there right now. There is a woman and there are two women. One seems to be the daughter of the other. They look related.
Okay.
Hey!
Just like the most uninviting hey I could possibly give to one of the women.
Okay. Yeah, the one of the women from behind the bar sort of calls over. Is there something I can be helping you with?
Ale! Food!
Aye, you got the coin.
We got the coin.
I make sure my pouch, like, sort of unfreeze my pouch just by, like, crumpling it a little bit and just...
Yeah, you just hold it between your hands and start warming it and sort of, like, start
coin.
smushing it.
We have the coin.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You guys start heading over.
But
Alright then. Will that be an ale for both of you?
at least for me, I know.
Give me something hard.
I'll give you one of the finer ones, but it'll cost you 2 silver for something more strong, 1 for the standard.
It's fine by me.
Yeah, I'll pull out a gold coin and just kind of like tap it on the table.
Break this 10 for me.
Are you sure about that, sir?
I look at the gold coin, I look at her, and the thing is, this is a line that I've used that Jarren has taught me, I think, in the past, and I just look at her kind of confused, like, did I say something wrong?
No, he meant it. He knows.
I need...
All right. I'm just saying, I'm married to a dwarf, and he doesn't even he doesn't drink like that.
Wait.
Oh no, he's not asking for you to get him 5 of those drinks.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No.
Right, you want me to split it?
Yes.
Sorry, misunderstood.
Yes.
Adventuring types are sometimes a bit more ambitious than they're worth.
Oh.
All right.
She starts pouring out of a few barrels, like tapping a few. Comes back and plops them down on the table.
All right. And here is your silver back.
Hands you the 7 back.
Nice. Yeah, I take it without a second thought.
Have a very nice day. If you need anywhere to stay and hold up for a while, this is the place.
And you notice on 2 sides of this like large eating hall, there are actually 2 fireplaces on either side to sort of provide ample warmth to the place.
We appreciate it.
And the barrenness of the tavern allows you like plenty of room to choose the place closest to by the fire if you guys want to.
Definitely.
Yep. Just want to warm up.
Cool. Yeah, you guys go sit at a table.
Yeah. Shit.
Well, apparently we've gone long enough to be called adventurers. How long has it been? Months? Years?
Yeah, you don't recognize that woman.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I don't know.
Again,
Because
Ref has another one of those moments where he seems to be trying to remember something, but just cannot.
if I remember correctly, it was almost a year. Seems about right. It's been a long time.
Yes. That sounds right.
Right. Well, I wasn't expecting to see... What exactly did you see out? That thing that was chasing us. I know you said it was like a blackfish, but I just don't know what that means.
It had the head of a great sea beast with rows upon rows of fangs, and it stood taller than any man I've ever seen. Its legs the size of either of us. I'm surprised that we outran it. Honestly.
Probably got scared once we got close enough to town. Still, lucky, yes.
At this point, Ref, you notice the woman seems to be talking like down at something.
Yeah.
Over by the bar, and you notice a hatch swing open and a dwarf start hobbling towards you, his sort of hair held back into a ponytail and his beard in this sort of neat but fluffy sort of arrangement around his face. Not braided, just sort of let loose, and he seems to be heading towards your table.
Small
You
thing.
recognize... Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
You good?
When she was speaking to the hatch, might I have been able to hear what she was saying? Or
Yes,
try to?
you can. Yeah, you can hear the just at the end as you're sort of like listening.
Yeah.
You just heard like
Some new adventurers in town. I wasn't sure what to say, so
and then like you see like just the head pop up.
Yep.
And then the hatch fly open, and this guy start marching towards you.
You.
And you recognize this as Solveig, who is the person who has ran this establishment from when you guys used to live here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's like a friendly face that you've recognized before.
Okay.
And he comes on over to the table and just plants a hand down on the table. And when he lifts it up, you see your 3 silver there.
I'll not be having you boys, after a long travel, be paying for your drinks. Not in my establishment.
It's good to see you, Solvik.
It's been a while.
Could say
I think I really, to you, Jarren, got to apologize for what happened to your mother.
It's...
Swallows hard.
No one could have stopped what happened. There's no need to dwell on it.
Well, I may not be as old as Gilther, but my bones are starting to crack. You boys still seem like you're young and spry. Why don't you tell me some of your stories?
Like just pulls a chair like out from the table and like sits on it the wrong way around, like arms over the top.
Well, Ref, you like telling this story when you were being surrounded, right in the middle of that bandit attack.
I mean, it's not a very interesting story. I pulled out my blades and cut everyone in their vital organs and killed them all.
12 of them. 12 minutes.
That's our boys. We grow 'em strong here in Thetch.
Honestly, if he wasn't my brother, I'd have been terrified. I'm just proud of him.
Well, as long as you don't turn any of those blades on me, I'll make sure the first one is always on the house.
Thank you, Solvik.
I appreciate that, Solveig. Your
Least I can do. Your mother was always kind to this place.
You know, Solvig,
Aye.
you actually might know something. During our time away, I've been doing a little bit of research. We heard tell there might have been rumor of a magic item or a source somewhere nearby. Don't really have a lot of details, but do you have any idea who might we talk to in town about that?
You could try and talk to... There is a new pair of dwarven brothers. One of them's a ranger. He's been going out. Might know something of that. Other than that, there is a new girl. Assie? Something like that. She's been investigating the mines. If you remember what happened to that place. If there is anything fuck to be happening with magic, it might be down there.
Right. Sounds...
But stay away from the mines unless you can find some help. Too many of the young'uns have gone looking for glory down in that place and not come back. This girl's just the newest in a long line.
what happened in the mines?
That's quite a story. So, I'm gonna go get a drink. Because if I'm gonna be telling a story, I'm gonna need to get myself a drink. Oh, sorry about my wife, by the way. If she was rude to you guys at all.
And he nods and just starts like sort of bounding off.
Well, it's good to see some friendly faces.
Didn't he have a different wife before?
He's had 3 different wives before. For some reason, he doesn't seem to keep a hold on them.
Oh,
I think it's the drinking.
Humans only stay pretty for so long.
might be the drink.
Dwarves stay pretty forever. He comes back and plonks a drink down.
Yeah.
So, what story was I telling you?
The
Right,
mines.
about the mine. Right. So,
Right.
the mines, many years ago, some say they were like the heart of the town. Why a lot of people came here was because us dwarves had set up an old mine and humans wanted to franchise it, start exporting the goods to other places. Thetch was sort of set up as a sort of town for the miners' families initially. And then the accidents started happening. People started disappearing one by one. Started getting stories about people going missing and seeing the bodies of... I'm going a bit more in this direction. Seeing the bodies of people who'd gone missing before. Long time. And so, slowly over time, the town's economy started dying, and many adventurers have been going back, but supposedly, well, all the bodies that have been amassing there are just making it harder and harder to get through.
Are you perhaps talking about undead?
I don't believe in superstition, but supposedly ghosts, zombies, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, no, I don't think we should be going down there without help, for sure.
The new girl is trying to accrue some sort of wealth, apparently from the line of humans who initially purchased the mine, who want to sort of bring life back to Thetch.
Oh, so well and good, but she's not bringing wealth to anyone if she's dead.
Very true. But she's trying to be smart. She's hired Calvus, I think his name was. Not a very talkative one, but a dwarf. Seems to be relatively well built. Been trying to talk around the town. Ask me, ask Gilther. That's just about everyone she could get her hands on.
Well, if we are crazy enough to go into the mines, sounds like we should probably talk to her.
He nods his head very happily.
So, story for a story. I think we've traded well there. What are you boys doing back, anyhow? Other than this magical item you're looking for?
We've been away from home for a while. Honestly, it's not so friendly in a lot of places. I think part of us just wanted to come back to a place that was familiar.
I can relate to that. I would. By the way, there was what's his name? Battle, the town master. He's been by a few times, asking for you. Just see him if you pass through. Maybe once every few moons.
I'm sorry, the what master?
Town master.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, well then, if we see him, we can ask him what's going on. Zod, did he say why he was looking for us?
Not really, just checked in every now and then, asked if the boys had been back.
Right.
Did he say anything to you before he left, Ref? Before you left?
Ref tries like pulling forth the memories, and he thinks he thinks there was definitely actually, I mean, was there a conversation between me and him before we left?
No.
Yeah. He thinks like back to just when he may have talked to him, and he's like,
Maybe. I cannot remember.
Recently, in the last few days, he's been checking up on a lot of places. Girl went missing not too long ago. The Lyubomir family. Don't know what happened. Supposedly, she went out into the snow on their own at night. Shame for that one.
Dead.
I mean, she went out on her own at night. Her warm clothes still in her house. Not sure if there's anything else she could be.
dead.
I mean, certainly the Sleet Wardens are looking into it.
I believe one of them out now. You know him. The one who helped you.
Right.
Hmm.
Is he's still doing all right?
I mean, he's still drinking, providing me plenty of business. And if
Sure.
any man's got warmth in his belly, he's usually got warmth in his heart.
Can he still fight?
Decently. Not got his bones cracking like old Solvik.
That's all he needs.
I better be going.
Sure.
With this girl missing, I should better talk to my own.
Waddle! And you see the one of the barmaids who had been walking around, the one who was in here other than the mother, sort of this about 5'5" sort of built-looking human girl, sort of like turns her head and he starts like walking towards her. They seem to like head into the back room for a conversation.
As well, this is probably a very fitting point to notice such a thing. I think when we sort of focus on her and her size, like she seems like a stronger woman, and then we come back to Ref and Jarren, we notice that like what might have been just a trick of the mind is in fact Ref is actually quite short. For
Yeah, up till now, all the camera angles have been like tilted, and this time is the first time where we get like a side shot of the table with the two of you.
Yeah. And like it looks like we're both sitting, so it looks like Jarren might be maybe a little bit taller. But then you just notice the sheer size difference between myself and my brother, and it looks like I could fit inside his skin and an inch. Yeah. To put it that way. Yeah, exactly.
A lot more scary.
Yeah, so he's a small orc, half orc.
But yeah, Solveig heads off into the back room.
Yep. Well, it seems there are a lot of people we can talk to.
Yes. I wonder if the old crew's still running around here. I'll need to tap the earth.
Okay. Not gonna crack skulls too early, I hope.
I don't crack skulls. I cut them.
Like, even realizing how stupid that statement sounds, he says it.
Yeah.
You sure do. You sure do.
I don't plan to kill anyone anytime terribly soon.
That's good. No, was there anyone you wanted to speak to before we speak to the town master?
Well, we ought to return to our mother's home,
Of course.
of course. And then... We might actually do well to try to find my old people. Though they're slippery, I might be able to get in touch with them.
Sure, if you think that's best, then we'll do that.
I think
Come on.
it'll give us a lead on the town master if he's... Well, if he's who he used to be. Or if he's changed.
You see, like, an actual surprised look on Jarren's face, and it's just there for a split second before he looks back at Ref. Now, Ref, when I say this, know that I'm being entirely serious and I'm not making fun of you. That's a very good idea.
Well, of course it's a good idea. I mean, you gotta think about it, really. If he changed it all, we might have a different place before him in his mind.
It seems that Ref's just kind of like, at this point, thinking of things to say to try to keep this train going in the right direction.
Well, he could have a new child. No. Yes, we're going to do that. It'll work.
Let's go check out the old house then.
Alrighty.
Yeah. And with the sound of creaking of chairs like sliding across the floor, you guys look down and see that Solveig's drink is only 2/3 finished. I think that's what we'll take our first break.
Sounds
So,
good.
if you guys need to get drinks, go to the bathroom, anything like that, now is the time. Hello, chat. How are you?
Oh.
God.